Hey, everybody out there. What's going on? I'm a little slow getting used to this. Tonight it is my son's birthday and we literally just ran in the door to get here on time. Um yeah, we just got back getting fat and happy, feeling extra fat in the shirt tonight. At Red Robin, gave my kid the choice of everywhere to eat and he couldn't make up his mind till the last minute. So we were later getting out than we expected, which wasn't great, but I'm here. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to be with you. We got kind of a lot to cover this week, not a ton, but there are some really big ones, like Columbia Classics Volume 3 was officially announced this week, and we kind of had some leaks that this was coming earlier, but this one we found out that it was going to have a lot more. I don't really just want to say special features because there's a lot of stuff on this one that we did not see coming at all. So excited for that. Excited that you all are here with me, and yeah. Um, I feel like I had something else to talk about, but I don't. Uh, I guess I could give an update. The Patreon is going super strong. We not this weekend, but probably next weekend. So I guess that would be 11, 12, 13, 14th, probably the 21st of August, or maybe the 28th of August. I haven't decided yet. One of those is going to be the Patreon watch along for this month. And we are going to be watching another full movie together. And if you want in on that and you're not on the Patreon, make sure you get in there before it goes down. Just to highlight again right now, because it's before the 20th of the month, if you sign up before the 20th of the month, you will be eligible for that month's giveaway if you sign up at the VIP level. And we've got a lot of people eligible. We've had a lot of really great packages going out so far each month since, gosh, I think I've sent out 5 or 6 packages since we started the Patreon. And each one has been pretty damn killer, if I do say so myself. So if you want in on that level, link is in the description below. Let's say hi to everybody. What's going on? That's my comment. Jeff, what's going on, my friend? Glad you're here. Sardis, okay, you got the video. Good. I hope it worked out. I realized right after I sent it, I didn't include how to turn on notifications. If you still want that, let me know. When you go to the Discord, the server for Disconnected, there's a settings button and it says manage notifications and you can turn them on in there. Zach, my friend, what's going on? Lissa, thank you for that. My youngest just turned 6 today, and we went to Red Robin, and they are very boisterous with the way they sing "Happy Birthday." And man, my kid is hilarious because he was stoked because of course it's Red Robin. There's 912 other people eating, and 5 other birthdays before his, so everybody was clapping and singing, and he was singing to everybody else. But then when they came to sing "Happy Birthday" to him, he did not love it. He got really shy and put his face in my armpit, and he sure ate his ice cream real quick. That's for sure. What's going on, Terry? And Mitchell's here. My friend John, what's up? Cam, hey. Swift is here. Happy Thursday to you, my friend. Fanatical Dragon. I will take this moment to shout out. Fanatical Dragon and I had a really wonderful conversation, which turned into this really exclusive face reveal of the Fanatical Dragon that was placed on the channel, I believe, last Friday. And we talked about premium editions, primarily things like one clicks and those crazy steelbooks, specifically from Asia for the most part. They're huge there. Not really so many here. I do, hilariously, there is some talk with another label about those types of releases, and that interview is going to be going up on Monday, so pay attention to that. Thank you, Cam. I'll let him know. Appreciate that. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese, man, that was the greatest. Yeah, I think we took my oldest to Chuck E. Cheese right before the pandemic hit because his birthday's in February, and that was an interesting one. Yeah, Fanatical definitely going to do a part 2 eventually. And especially when people like Swift and Sardis are all stoked on it. Yeah, I'm glad. So glad you're here, everybody. That being said, I wanted to throw out, it has been a very busy week for me. I think most people knew, my sister was here last week from Arizona, and then this week I had to go into the office for some big fancy pants leadership conference, basically, of all of the bigwigs from my region that I'm in charge of, and we had to do a lot more than I expected, and I had planned on getting a video out tomorrow with me and my sister, but the editing just did not get done in time, unfortunately. So we're going to be rolling those out here soon. Me and my sister did record a lot together, like 4 videos, and I think you guys are going to love those. So look for those out in the next coming probably 4 weeks or so. I don't want to put them all out at once, but I don't want to, put them out for the next month and a half or something like that. So, yeah, be on the lookout for those. My sister is amazing, and I was so stoked that she was able to visit. So I'm glad. Man, seems like all kinds of people were stoked on that side of collecting, Dragon. I'm very happy that you guys really responded to that. Yeah, that side of collecting, it gets crazy. Lissa watched it as well. It's good to know. I I don't like being a fancy pants. I just want to sit at home in like basketball shorts and be able to never do my hair. I mean, I can't say I don't do my hair because I don't have to do much anyways. Let's get into some announcements, huh? I don't want to go. Oh, Sardis. I think Fancy Pants was a Bob Hope film. I think it was too. Yes. So this is going to be the big elephant in the room. So I'm going to talk about this real quick. By Fur brought up the Shawscope Volume 2. It did leak because of Amazon, of course, and it appears Arrow is probably announcing that tomorrow. Unfortunately, because there is no press release out, I have not posted it about it yet. So we will talk all about that set for next Thursday, probably, as long as it gets announced tomorrow. But it appears Shawscope Volume 2 genuinely looks really great. So, yeah, next Thursday night, we're going to have that conversation. Make sure that it gets officially announced. I don't want to step on Arrow's toes like Amazon did and the other announcement account that pretty much all of you probably follow. He leaks a lot of things, but I really try not to do that because the labels really don't like that, and most of them have told me that they really hate that. All right, let's get into some of these announcements. Again, as usual, if you have any questions, post them in there. As soon as I see them, I will try to get to them. I do have a couple random things that I wanted to highlight as pickups later. Nothing huge tonight, but I did want to highlight those. Patrons, I have been really light on the pickups video the last couple of weeks because of my sister and then this conference, but I will have one coming up in the next couple of days that will be going up for you all to see, and that will include all of this as well. And looking around, like I set something else out for myself, but I don't see anything. So let's get into it. Let me share my screen here. First one up is kind of a big one for me. This is quite a fun movie. We got Ski Patrol coming to MVD Rewind. This is coming on November 22nd, and this is its first time on Blu-ray ever, which is great. This is from 1990, and one of those really silly comedies, and I'm stoked that MVD Rewind is once again coming back for the titles that have never been released anywhere, and I'm grateful for that. I do understand the collectors that want things that have been out of print and all of that fun stuff, but these brand new titles are really where it gets exciting because it means new licenses. It not always, but it potentially means new deals are still coming with some of the studios. And a film like this, that if you haven't seen Ski Patrol, just to let you in on the secret, like this is one a lot of people love. This one is great, and it's genuinely really funny. So, in case you don't know all the details, this is 1990, like I said. The lease on the Snowy Peaks Lodge, a popular ski resort, is up for renewal, and its owner, Pops, has no worries about signing a new lease. Despite his ski patrol, an out-of-control group of skiers led by Jerry and Iceman, the resort has an impeccable safety record. However, a devious land developer, played by Martin Mull, has other plans in mind for the resort and hires the talents of a young blonde named Lance to undermine the ski patrol's efforts to keep the slopes safe. And there is all kinds of random faces that make not necessarily cameos, but like really short appearances in this. It's a very fun movie, very like madcap, like Police Academy type of film, and it looks like a great release. By the way, they did say this is not going to have a bunch of special features as you see here. Literally nothing but the original trailer and the VHS trailer. So because of that, they are going to cost less than most of their releases. And these are already, MVD Rewind is generally pretty cheap already. And so if they're going to be charging less, I would not be surprised if this comes out at like $17 or $18 MSRP, which means you can probably find this for like $13 or $14 fairly quickly. So be on the lookout for this one. This will be cheap, and I would highly recommend this even if you have never seen this. Let's see what's going on in comments. Quiet Rob, what's going on, my friend? Hilton wants to know if I shelled out for the Error 4444 titles. Let me tease that, because I did just sort of mention something. I happen to have my two Error 444, did I say the right number of fours, releases here on hand, because that interview coming out on Monday was with Error 4444, and I think I was only the third interview they've done, and they seem to really enjoy it. The interview was really fun, goes really through the minutia of things, and this is a company that has not been very public so far, so I think that this is one that you guys are going to be very interested in on Monday. This is a really exciting company and one to support, which to go for a long answer there for you, Hilton. Yes, I definitely did. I've been waiting for Centipede Horror specifically for a long time. So that one, the moment that got announced, I was going to be on the pre-order train. But yes, it is going to look really great. And yeah, I would just say if you are interested in any of the Error 4444 titles so far, please come on Monday and listen to that interview I did with them. They are incredible people and really going to surprise you with some of the things that they say and talk about. The fact that we really knew nothing about them previously, it answers a lot of potential questions, and might I don't want to sell this like this amazing thing, but the interview might actually be a little inspiring to a lot of you, because they are kindly, what was that word? They are kind of just like a lot of us, and have been really big collectors, and they wanted to start a label, and they did. So we go into that quite deeply. So make sure you check that out on Monday. I think you're going to love it. Dustin's here. What's going on, Dustin? And Eric, one of my longest YouTube friends. Hello. Completely agree, Jeff. Jeff says that companies need to do more of that. If there are less extras, cut the price a little. The only time I really I understand keeping the price the same is if the license costs a lot. For example, like Fright Night, we're getting a massive, really loaded release from the studio. Trying to open a drink, sorry. Which I'm super grateful about. But because Fright Night is such a big title, if it had been light, but it was still going to be like a $30 title, I kind of would have understood. I mean, it's Fright Night. It's that wasn't cheap to license, I'm sure. But thankfully, the studio's putting it out themselves, so they don't have to pay for licensing. Video Man in, what is going on? He says, working day and night now on a new Tom Cruise movie. Very nice. Never time for relaxing with YouTube. Nice to have you on in the background. Well, thanks for letting me in and spending some of that time with you. Landed my biggest commercial a week ago, so there will be a lot of work for 4 weeks. Beautiful. I hope to hear what the commercial's for. Hopefully soon. Let me know if you can share what it's for. Going to film festival at the end of this month with the latest movie, biggest underground festival in Europe. Dang, Very nice. Congratulations, man. You got a busy month ahead of you. That's fantastic. John, yes, John and I, we talked about this earlier. Cat 3 Forever. I really hope more of those titles come out. And just to highlight by Fur, he says 45 people watching. I hope there's at least 45 likes below. Go ahead and click that button. See if we can get some more people interested. Dead Sea Life, there you are. What's going on, my friend? Glad you have joined us. We are honestly still on the first announcement, so you've not missed much. So glad you are here. Next one is the next MVD title. They announced that Panther from 1995 is making, once again, its Blu-ray debut. So one of these on the left here, you're going to see cover A. This is the slipcover. And then on the inside, they will have cover B here. This is coming on November 22nd as well. This is not MVD Rewind, though. This is the MVD Marquee Collection. And again, like I said, making its Blu-ray debut for the first time ever, which is great. Ken, my friend, hello. Video Man, it says, my latest movie is called Pandemonic. That's a great title. A 90-minute movie that's been in the works for 30 years. Geez. Started filming in 87 on 8mm. Then on video in the 90s. That is, gosh, that's got to be intense. That's really awesome, though. Interesting. So you must have finished on digital then, I assume. That's great to see multiple formats. I would love to see that. So this one is kind of a big deal. For those that don't know, this is written by Melvin Van... Can't speak. Written by legendary filmmaker and author Melvin Van Peebles, who did Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, based on his own novel, and then directed by Mario Van Peebles. Panther features an all-star cast, including Kadeem Hardison, Bokeem Woodbine, Jodan Baker, Chris Tucker, James LaGrosse, M. Emmett Walsh, Robert Culp, James Russo, Bobby Brown, and Tyron Turner. But this is, again, another light on features title, but this is one a lot of people know about, and kind of a bigger title, especially having Van Peebles attached to it. So I am stoked about this. I really hope that people check this one out. I believe I saw this shortly, probably about 4 or 5 years after this came out, and have not seen it since then because it's not been the easiest film to see. So can't wait to see this again. MVD Marquee Collection has already been a little bit cheaper, but again, they're going to be pricing this even less because they understand that. So yes, I do really hope that other companies take that action and really start paying attention, that if they are putting out a title with less features, they can potentially charge less. That would be nice, and I assume consumers would probably notice. Video Man says, just finished it in 2020. We'll just have 2 screenings before it is gone. What? 2 screenings before it's gone forever? Forever? I want a copy. Tom Savini, Christina Lidberg, Ailed Gale is acting in it. Very nice. Mr. Howard, how are you? Been a while, my friend. Let's check out the next one. This is from Cohen Media, which is a partner label of Kino Lorber. And we are getting a Knife in the Head from 1978, which is getting a brand new 4K restoration. Kind of surprised on that one. I'm glad we're getting it, but yeah. So from 1978, Bruno Ganz gives a tour de force performance as Hoffman. What? I mean, how often has the name Hoffman been used in crime films? Hilarious. Anyways, he plays as Hoffman, an innocent bystander who survives a gunshot to the head by the police during a raid on a group of revolutionaries. I mean, I'm already sold on this, but let's keep going. In order to justify the shooting, the police claim he is a dangerous radical who attacked a policeman. The leftist revolutionaries, in turn, claim him as a hero and victim of police brutality. As Hoffman struggles to recover from the trauma to his brain and memory loss, he must try to piece together what really happened that fateful night. Featuring a stunning first solo score by Erwin Schmidt, co-founder of the legendary krautrock band Can. And this is going to have an interview with the director and an interview with the exec producer. I got to be honest, John. I agree with you. Judas and the Black Messiah is similar and quite underseen. However, I've still not seen it, and I really need to. I do think I have it here, and I really need to put it in. And I love Daniel Kaluuya, so yeah, I definitely need to see that one. Ken says, starting to get overwhelmed by the pre-order list. So much stuff coming out. We still got November and December announcements, and it's getting heavy. Like, this is the time of year, primarily September through, it's usually September through November, but sometimes we'll get some December heavy hitters. Like, it appears Shawscope is probably going to be a December release again. And we're not even talking sale titles yet for those, those labels that have their November sale, like Severin and Vinegar Syndrome. And there's some big stuff coming this year that has already been announced, and also some that has not been announced yet. So this is a lot. Video Man says, I loved Panther when I was a child. Remember the release of it on VHS in Norway. It had restricted all over the cover. Wow. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, I would check this one out personally. This one sounds great. I don't think I've ever seen this one. BFI, they started putting out some announcements, and some of these look magnificent. A lot of these, I guess there's only like 4 or 5, so a lot of these might be a misnomer. A few of these are titles that people have really been wanting for a long time. So with BFI, these are UK releases, and I can only hope that we're getting some of these in the States. But we shall see. Coming on October 24th in 4K from BFI is Watership Down from 1978. If you have never seen Watership Down, this is a depressing film, but it's one that everybody should see. Dragon says November 21st for Shawscope. Interesting. Yeah. This one is an apocalyptic vision pushes a group of rabbits to abandon their warren in search of a new home in this landmark British animation. I think most people have seen this, so I won't go too much into detail. However, check this out. Newly restored in 4K by BFI and Silver Salt Restoration using the original 35mm NEG and stereo audio tracks. This landmark animation is presented in UHD for the very first time, and it looks like a solid looking release. We get the film on 4K on disc 1. It's got Dolby Vision and HDR10. Disc 2 has an HD presentation of the feature plus the extras. Most of these do not look to be brand new. Most of these are going to be reused legacy features. We got the Super 8 version of the film, conversation with the filmmakers from 2005, short featurette about the film's aesthetic, some other small things. We got newly created optional English subs for the deaf and partial hearing. And then there is a double-sided poster featuring the original UK quad and the 2022 re-release artwork, which I actually really like this new artwork. It looks really good. And then a set of 4 postcards that you can see at the bottom here, featuring iconic scenes, and then a perfect bound book featuring new writing on the film by Jay Stewart and Catherine Lester. And other extras to be confirmed, which means we may still be getting some new extras, which is really cool. Terry's asking, would this be BFI's first 4K? I don't think so. Didn't BFI release one of the let's see, who did they put out one from some huge filmmaker, right? Dang it, why can I not think of it right now? Oh, it's good gosh, what is the name? Let me Google, and by the time I've Googled, somebody else is probably going to be posting it in the comments. There we go. The Seventh Seal, and then yes, Get Carter was just released. The Seventh Seal is the one I was thinking of. That was the very first release. And then obviously that is one. I think that Bergman was their first one, right? I think that one was their first. But yes, BFI is really getting into it, and this looks great. Let's see. so much going on in the comments. Ken says, I'm an impulse buyer. Can't hold out for sales. Totally get that feeling. There is a lot I would like, but knowing I can't swing it does make it easier. And that's hard though too. Just can't do it. Yeah, and that's the thing. When you can't get everything, it really makes you appreciate the ones that you can get in, and really understand that if you're only able to get a few this month, perhaps those few you're really going to dive in and appreciate all of the special features, all of the book that comes with it, and really just get every single penny's worth out of it. That's highly recommend doing that to make sure that you're not just spending money to spend money. Coming on October 10th from BFI is The Ballad of Tam Lin. This is from 1970, and this is one I believe Imprint put this out previously. Loosely based on the traditional Scottish folk ballad, this 1971 rarity stars silver screen icon Ava Gardner as a mysterious and wealthy older woman who uses witchcraft to exercise control over a group of younger hippies and thrill seekers. This is played by Ian McShane, Joanna Lumley, and Bruce Robinson. Features music by folk rock legends Pentangle and spectacular cinematography by Billy Williams. This is part folk horror and part blow-up style swinging 60s critique. This unique cult film is being made available for the first time on Blu-ray in the UK. And they are working on some other features on this, but we do have a new interview with the lead singer of the British folk jazz band that is featured in the film. And you got the old interview with Roddy McDowall on here, and a new booklet with new writing on the film by William Fowler. Hoping they get some other ones in here. This is, as far as I remember, a pretty dang good film. The Ballad of Tam Lin is unique, very stylish, and hoping that it is one that more people are checking out now that this is coming out. I would have liked to see this one on 4K, but I get it. This is probably not going to sell a ton for BFI. And for those that don't know, this is actually a part of the BFI Flip Side line that they do. They've done some really good films on that Flip Side line. Take a look for that. This is coming in October. And now this might be the one that people are most excited for from BFI, especially if you already had Watership Down. This is a film by Peter Greenaway that is called The Draughtsman's Contract. This is coming on November 21st from BFI, so this is coming in the UK. This is getting a brand new 4K remaster. This is from 1982, and it is in an apparently idyllic 17th century Wiltshire. An ambitious draughtsman is commissioned by the wife of an aristocrat to produce 12 drawings of her husband's estate and negotiates terms to include sexual favors from his employer. But when a corpse is dragged from the moat, the draughtsman's drawing may reveal more than he realized. Really, really glad that they did a new remaster on this. As far as I remember, this really needed it. And this will have some pretty great features. We get a limited edition 2-disc set. We get the Greenaway Alphabet, which is from 2017, an intimate portrait of painter and filmmaker Peter Greenaway, directed by his wife, excuse me, together with his daughter Pip. Greenaway formulates an alphabet that represents his personality and thoughts about art and life. And then we get an experimental short film also by Peter Greenaway. That one's from 1973. Audio commentary by the director, introduction by the director, an interview, some behind-the-scenes stuff, some deleted scenes, lots and lots on there. And then it still says other extras to be confirmed. So we might get even more, which could be a lot. Wow, lots of comments. Let's take a look at these. Ken is guessing. Indicator is, I think they hinted that they're coming out early next year with their first 4K. And Ken is guessing that it will be The Horror of Dracula or Body Double. Body Double, I hope not. I mean, I get why it would make sense because it was their first title, but we'll see. Mitchell says there's a lot of talent in Tam Lin. Might want that one. It's a good title, yeah. Still really hoping for a 4K restoration of one of Greenaway's other films. Yes. Disconnected. You should check out Video Talk channel on YouTube. Maybe do a video with him. He's a lot of fun. cool. I will check that out. Yeah, if you get a chance, Video Man, and email me a link. Email is in the description below, so I can see that. Pronounce draftsman's. Made that mistake back. Oh, got it. I've always heard it pronounced the other way. Man, my apologies. Good to know. Haven't seen this Greenway. Any company selling BFI in the US? Diabolic usually does, and Eric already answered that. Thank you. 4K Horror of Dracula would be great. That's the one with the longer Japanese cut on the last reel. Yes, it is. Yeah, BFI usually is available from Diabolic, and I believe this is actually already available for pre-order on Diabolic, if I remember right. Speaking of Bergman, we just talked about Bergman a minute ago. Coming on November 21st, they are putting out, still BFI, their Ingmar Bergman Volume 4 collection. For more than 50 years, Bergman produced groundbreaking works of cinema, of course, making him one of the world's most acclaimed, enduring, and influential filmmakers. And in this collection, we are going to have Cries and Whispers, Scenes from a Marriage, Autumn Sonata, Pharaoh Document, I believe is how you say this one. It might be Pharaoh. From the Life of the Marionettes, Fanny and Alexander. They are also including the Fanny and Alexander TV series. And After the Rehearsal, this one will be limited to 5,000 copies, and they are going to be working on extras for this one. I will say these Bergman collections seem to have sold really well for BFI. So far they've done 4 of these, and I got to be honest, they look really great in the hand. The art on these is always spectacular. I understand it's not the giant cinema box set from Criterion, but these are a lot less unwieldy, and I think some people may enjoy these primarily for that shape. They actually fit on a normal shelf. But yes, Bergman, obviously super influential. This is a lot of stuff in one box set. Again, I do believe this is already available for pre-order on Diabolic. And then also, of course, you can get this, I believe, direct from BFI. I think they ship here. BFI does great work. They are, if you don't know, BFI stands for the British Film Institute, and they put a lot of love and care in their releases, primarily because it is essentially what like the original mission of Criterion was, which is restoring and archiving the important films, primarily from their area, because they're BFI for a reason. So they do great work on their releases. Yeah, check that out if you're into Bergman. And I totally forgot this was announced as well, but this is probably the one that so many people are excited about, because we are getting from BFI Ghost Stories from Christmas. This is listed as Volume 1. Broadcast in the dying hours of Christmas Eve, the BBC's A Ghost Story for Christmas series was a mixture of the seasonal schedules throughout the 1970s and spawned a long tradition of chilling tales which terrified Yuletide viewers for decades to come. This much requested release gives 4 landmarks of the series their Blu-ray debut ever, not just in the UK, ever, having been newly remastered by the BFI from the original film materials. These are all based on classic short stories by acclaimed writer M.R. James. His atmospheric settings and creeping unease are eerily realized in the seminal dramas that unleash evil spirits that will haunt and unnerve. I do have some of these on DVD, and they are good enough to upgrade. This is one I will definitely be paying attention to, because they are a great line. And in this first volume, which hopefully I'm pretty sure this is going to sell well, and they'll be able to put out a volume 2. We are getting Whistle and I'll Come to You from 1968, The Stalls of Barchester from 1971, A Warning to the Curious from 72, and then The Lost Hearts from 73. This is going to have a handful of things on here. We've got some extras like Ramsey Campbell on M.R. James from 2001, a conversation about Whistle and I'll Come to You from 2012, reading of Oh Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad from 2001. It's audio only. And then some other audio readings on here, Ghost Stories for Christmas with Christopher Lee, The Stalls of Barchester, and A Warning to the Curious from 2000, which is 60 minutes total, and other extras. There's all kinds of stuff coming in here. They are really putting love and attention into this, and I'm glad. These seem to be some of the titles that people have really been asking about, because the old DVD set they had of these, I believe, was very, very popular. So it must have done very well from them to be putting this sort of attention on these still in 2022 and on Blu-ray. So glad on that. Ken says, we got 2 great spaghetti western media books coming from Germany next month: The Dirty Outlaws and Arizona Colt. Very nice. Diabolic will probably get them, and Orbit probably will too eventually. Okay, I think this is the last title from BFI for the month. This is coming on December 5th. This is Nil by Mouth, and what is interesting about this one is this is written and directed by Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman revealed himself as a filmmaker of uncompromising talent with Nil by Mouth, his debut and so far only directorial feature. Set on a council estate in New Cross, southeast London, the area where Oldman himself actually grew up, a dysfunctional family encounters domestic violence, drunkenness, drug addiction, and petty crime. Featuring career-best performances from Kathy Burke, Ray Winstone, and Charlie Creed Miles, all superbly supported by Layla Morse and Jamie Foreman, Nil by Mouth was awarded Best British Film and Best Original Screenplay at the 97 BAFTA Awards. This intensely powerful and emotional landmark of British cinema has been remastered in 4K for its 25th anniversary by BFI, and this is the first time on Blu-ray anywhere in the world. Again, I will stress, that is so great that we are still getting titles like this that have never been on Blu-ray before. These brand new titles are so important to keep these labels going and to keep people interested in cinema and keep getting new art. Like, I understand the re-releases, but these are the titles that get me excited. What's going on, Dave? So glad to see you tonight. We are getting on this newly recorded audio commentary by Gary Oldman and the producer, interviews with the cast and crew, a perfect bound book featuring new and archive writing on the film, and also rare production materials from Oldman's personal archive. New subtitles, a trailer, and then new other extras are possibly coming as well. This is one I am supremely excited to check out. I don't think I've seen this one, but I adore Gary Oldman. I mean, the dude is a chameleon and has been an incredible actor his entire career. So I definitely need to see this one. By Candlelight. So, on October 11th, we're getting By Candlelight from 1933 from Kino Lorber. We are getting a new audio commentary by Troy Howarth on this one. And for those that don't know, this is directed by James Whale, who did Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, stuff like that. And I don't think I've seen this one. And I'm kind of surprised about that. I can't remember anything about this, but this one is certainly on my radar. One I will need to keep my eyes on, because Whale is a great director, especially, I mean, 1933, they did not have a ton to work with. Another classic they are putting out on October 11th at Kino. We are getting Murder at the Vanities from 1934. This one has a new audio commentary by Anthony Slide, and we are getting subtitles on this, and that is it. This one has Kitty Carlisle and Jack Oakey, Victor McLaughlin, and Carl Brisson. They are starring in Murder at the Vanities, an artfully audacious pre-code musical comedy and murder mystery. There is so much in that. That sentence alone makes me excited. Anything pre-code is always exciting, primarily because there was just stuff that in the next few years they weren't going to be able to get away with. So I'm glad that we have stuff like this still coming. And I mean, 1934, we're talking, that's almost 90 years old. 90 years. Awesome. So glad we're still getting this. Coming from Scorpion, which is a partner label of Kino, We are getting Golden Girl from 1979. Now, this is getting a brand new 4K restoration, which was done by Studio Canal. A new interview with Susan Anton, which is really surprising. New interview with Nicholas Coster. New interview with the composer Bill Conti. We're getting the career highlights. And then a new audio commentary by Nathaniel Thompson and Howard S. Berger. Now, the odd thing here, this is showing a runtime of 105 minutes. Unfortunately, I believe that means that this is the cut version. They probably are not. They're probably actually not able to find the original elements for the actual longer cut, and I believe the longer cut is, if I can remember right, it's like 14 minutes longer or something like that. So it's not inconsequential. It's actually substantially longer. So I do believe that they are probably lost at this point. Because I'm sure that licensing those would not, it wasn't going to be that much more difficult. But it's from 1979, so a lot can happen in 43 years. Let's see. Video Man, and I love Imprint, but they are the most expensive company out there. I completely get that. They cost me $70 for a single release. I mean, yikes. Importing from the US. I mean, we can get them here usually for about 30. I don't believe one title would be 40 to ship to you. Obviously, buying direct would be something that you'd prefer, but I mean, Orbit and Diabolic both ship internationally. So if you could, I mean, try to group some together if you really want some imprint. I think that might be the best way to do it. And now, for those that don't know, Diabolic actually announced that they are doing pre-orders on imprint titles now. For a long while, they were not doing any pre-orders on imprint because they did not know how many they were going to get. But now they are actively getting like an ample supply of them, so they're not worried about selling out. So I mean, imprint has gotten very, very popular very quickly, which is surprising. Like, people just talk about imprint like they've been around for a long time. They are a partner label, I guess, or it might even just be like a line from Via Vision, which is a big label in Australia. But Imprint itself really only released their first title, I believe, in May. I think it was May of 2020. I think it's May of 2020. It might have been May of 2019, but I believe it was 2020. And they are, gosh, I'm trying to see from here. I think they're already up to like 150 or 160 spines, which is crazy in that short period of time. I think we've talked about this before, but they just impressed the hell out of me. Let's get back to Golden Girl. For those that haven't seen it, this is actually a really, really good film. This says, gorgeous Susan Anton, who was in Cannonball Run 2, stars as an untried female sprinter who enters the Olympics, claiming that she will win an unprecedented 3 gold medals. But when one man, played by James Coburn, falls in love with her, he unravels the bizarre history of her training and the tough money men who stand to make millions if she survives. Directed by Joseph Sargent, this is one that has Jessica Walter, Michael Lerner, Robert Culp, a whole bunch of names in this one, and tennis great John Newcomb. Golden Girl is a winning sports story with a unique sci-fi twist. And they really made this a really unique film. Definitely, I would check it out. 25 or 30 for the title, then 20% in tax to get them into the country on top of the shipping. That comes to 20 from the USA or 30 from Australia. Jeez. Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, so 20% in tax, you're already looking at 30 plus 20 shipping, so 50, and then 20% tax, so $56 if you get it from Diabolic. I mean, yikes. That's a lot. I mean, obviously that's for one title, so if you can spread the shipping out on a handful, it's a little less per title. I mean, you could probably bring it down to like 40 per, but that's still a lot. And that's not even talking the box sets, and Imprint does a lot of those. I mean, I've got one right next to me still. This is the Jim Sheridan set that they just put out, and spending some time with this one. And I mean, this thing is like 80, 85. So shipping on that would probably be 20, 25, and then your tax on top of that. So yeah, you're looking at probably 140, 150 for that one all in. I get it. It's expensive, and importing stuff is just genuinely not cheap. Uh, it's a lot. Next up, coming soon from Kino Lorber, we are getting Twilight from 1998. Yeah, Twilight. That name is not super unique. This one has a hell of a cast. We got Paul Newman, Gene Hackman, Susan Sarandon, James Garner, Reese Witherspoon, Stockard Channing, Giancarlo Esposito, Liev Schreiber, Jason Clarke, and M. Emmett Walsh. That is a wild mix of a cast on this one. This is coming soon. We don't have a date on it yet. I think I saw this one back in the day, but then again, I don't have a lot of memory of it, which makes me think maybe I didn't, because I would think with this cast, I feel like I would remember it, but I don't know. I might have just been a little young and repressed some of those memories, because I repressed a lot. 1998. Hopefully we get that one soon, because I'm interested in that one. We got word from Synapse that they are putting out Street Trash and Just Before Dawn. This was perhaps slightly premature. It sounds like Just Before Dawn is for sure coming in 4K from Synapse, but we don't know for sure that Street Trash is coming in 4K. It sounds like it is quite likely, and they should be able to do that. But yeah, this is one that I do believe is coming. It makes perfect sense. The fact that they are more certain about Just Before Dawn, it seems like both of these will probably come. Synapse did have the original release on Blu of Street Trash. I believe the only Blu of Street Trash in the US, actually. And for those that don't know, Street Trash Street Trash is a beautiful film. Street Trash is a very goopy movie, and I think we talked about that last week too. Street Trash is fun. It's got some weird scenes in it, but it is a classic for a reason. Just Before Dawn, though, this is the unsung hero of these two announcements. Just Before Dawn has gotten some love because it had a Code Red release, and then I believe that even got a re-release through Kino. But Just Before Dawn is genuinely one of the best slashers of all time. It ticks so many boxes for me that I really, really, really love in a film. And Just Before Dawn is creepy. It's realistic. It is like trashy in a weird way. And for those that haven't seen Just Before Dawn, it has a really nice ending to the film that really makes you appreciate the way that they set it up. If you really pay attention, it's not going to be a surprise or anything like that, because it's telegraphed multiple times. So I won't even call it necessarily a twist, but it is a really wonderful film, and I hope more people check this out, especially if it gets a beautiful 4K. Let's see what is coming up next. On Sunday, we got an announcement from Kino that they are putting out Marathon Man from 1976 in 4K with a brand new Dolby Vision Master. This is really cool. This is a great movie, obviously. We got Dustin Hoffman, Laurence Olivier, Roy Schneider, William Devane, Fritz Weaver, and it was directed by John Schlesinger, who did Midnight Cowboy, The Falcon, and The Snowman. This got Best Supporting Actor nod for Olivier, but one that a lot of people have seen. And yeah, this is a great film. I'm glad they're doing this in 4K. Let me check the comments. We're talking about Reese Witherspoon being naked. Let's see. Don't show the box sets, makes me want them. Oh, geez, Eric, thanks for your sacrifice again for that one. Marathon Man announced 3 days after I bought it on Blu-ray. watched it anyway. Oh boy. Currently, there is a sale going on for Warner Archive. Back again at the Movie Zing website, which is somehow the new host of the Warner Archive sales. In this sale, we are getting 4 Blu-rays or DVDs this time for $49. Now, they have a lot of stipulations on this that they don't really announce. They are very specifically priced. Blu-rays or DVDs are for $49. But the worst thing with this sale is that when you go to the site, they charge some of the most ridiculous prices for shipping that I've seen since the last time I shopped at Severin. They charge like $3.50 for the first title, and then for every title after that, they charge another $1. So if you get the 4 titles, you're actually paying like $6.50 in shipping. So $55 is a lot more than what used to be the 4 for $44 sale, which just hurts a lot more than it used to. So I understand that prices go up, and I understand that Warner Archive had to shutter their website that they were running everything through. Their storefront is gone. But I just don't love these Movie Zing sales. And for those that live in Illinois, it's even worse. If you live in Illinois, they charge sales tax. So everyone else in the states gets no tax charged. So those in Illinois, this is a much worse deal than what you used to have. Terry says, thanks to the Discord and the Marathon Man announcement, I revisited the first episode of Clerks, the animated series. And I mean, Clerks, the animated series, unsung in its time, a lot better than it should have been. And one of those things that really solidified my early love for Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is great. I even love Tusk, and I don't, most people don't. I still have yet to see the follow-up to Tusk. I've not seen Yoga Hosers, but I'm interested in pretty much everything he does. And I still say Kevin Smith's masterpiece is actually Red State, and not enough people have seen it. Red State is amazing. Dead Sea Lives. Oh man, Severin charges $1 per gram for shipping. That is seemingly not far off. Oh man. Brian says, no more sales. I bought 27 DVDs from the Severin sale. Jesus. The crazy thing, it probably wasn't that expensive. Either way, what's going on, Brian? I'm glad you're here, my friend. We're going to talk about another sale in just a second. But first, let's talk about one that I am really worried about. We actually have 2 announcements from this company. We'll get to the other one in just a minute. But Dark Force, not a company that we've talked about in quite some time, but Dark Force has announced that they are getting into the 4K game. We talked about this a few weeks ago. VCI Entertainment, they announced their first 4K. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. And I didn't, hearing that announcement, I'm not going to run to trust VCI. I don't know which one scares me more, VCI getting into 4K or Dark Force getting into 4K. Multiple companies that are less than stellar on their reputation wise for their quality output. Dark Force is less than stellar for multiple reasons, primarily for their treatment of customers, especially online. But Dark Force just does not do great work a lot of the time. So I would be very hesitant to jump at a pre-order for any Dark Force 4K. We'll talk about probably their bigger title that's coming to 4K in just a moment, though. Let's see. Eric says, I guess I didn't see Twilight after all, was confusing it with Nobody's Fool. However, Twilight is included in the After Dark box set. Nice. From Imprint, of which I watched the first 4. I have not got through the first 4 yet, but that box set, for those that don't, the After Dark box set from Imprint is potentially like one of the releases of the year. I would highly recommend it if you can find it still. It is great. Red State is amazing, says Dragon. Yes, somebody else. Such a great swan song from Michael Park. Was that his last film? Damn, did Red State come out after Tusk? I could have swore Tusk came after Red State. Oh, geez. Yeah, Red State's great. Michael Parks is fantastic. Sadly, Go and Dogma were put out by Sony, but are out of print and pricey. Absolutely. Let's see. Sardis, I just bought a dozen Russian DVDs from eBay with subs. Nice. Half for Sci-Fi I haven't heard of. Tusk was his last. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think Red State was like 2010, and then Tusk was like 2000. Tusk had to have been like 2014, actually. Yeah, I think it was 2014. Those were like very blurry years for the Kevin Smith crowd. It wasn't the View Askew universe film, so I may be wrong there, but I feel like Tusk was 2014. Speaking of the sales, the next one that I wanted to shout out is the Shout Select sale. Now, unlike the other Shout Factory sales, the Shout Select sale is usually very good, and this year this is no surprise. This Shout Select sale is surprisingly great. There is some titles in here that are cheaper than you will ever see them in any other places. They've got The Wizard is like $10. The Wizard, the collector's edition of The Wizard for I believe $10. Some really great titles in Shout Select. I was considering, let me open this in another tab. If we go really short, oh man, are we really almost at an hour already? Man, I may be putting my foot in my mouth there. I was going to say if we go really short, I might browse through the Shout Select sale, but we may still go there. The Shout Select sale is really great. If you are light on Shout Select titles and you're hankering to spend some money, I would consider the Shout Select sale because they do some good stuff on that line. Out of nowhere, Kino Lorber dropped this random bomb a few days ago and announced their film noir The Dark Side of Cinema volumes 12, 13, 14, and 15. And all of these are getting brand new 2K remasters. So in number 12, we are getting Undertow, Outside the Wall, and Hold Back Tomorrow. Number 13, we are getting Spy Hunt, The Night Runner, and Step Down to Terror. Number 14, Undercover Girl, One Way Street, Appointment with a Shadow. And then, finally, on number 15, Man Afraid, The Girl in the Kremlin, and the Tattered Dress. I mean, there are so many titles in these. I'm shocked that they dropped all of these at once to announce them. They don't have release dates on all of them. I believe number 12 is coming very soon because it's up for pre-order right now. There are so many titles in here that I have just literally never seen. But also, I think we're getting kind of to the point where on these, we have to question a little bit if they're technically film noir. I mean, they've put out, I think by the time they're done with this series, if they stop at 15, it will be 47 titles, if I'm remembering right. And that is a lot, first of all, to come out of nowhere from Kino with 15 box sets of film noir. And they are starting to really dive deep on the end here and kind of stretch the definition of film noir. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely. Hans is reminding Indicator will probably release some of these in their Universal Noir series, so I will hold off. Yes, they undoubtedly will. Indicator and Kino have released a lot of the same sort of titles. Nathan is here. What's up, my friend? Hope you're doing well, Nathan. Sardis says, To the Stars, The Hard Way, and The End of Eternity, which I've already watched. Nice. The others should be in next week. Shout sale and the Warner Brothers sale kicked my butt, says Spaghetti. And then last comment on Red State. Quiet Rob says, Red State felt like a departure, absolutely, from what you expected Kevin Smith to put out back then. Really good movie and a great ending. Yeah, I think the ending is what really solidified it for me. Like I enjoyed the film, but when the ending came and it's actually sort of like a, oh, what was the actual truth there? Yeah, it really stuck for me. Yeah, Red State is so good. So good. I hope we get another release for that soon. This one. So on Monday of this week, I released a video interview with two of the, or the only two gentlemen from Deaf Crocodile, which, if you don't know, the two gentlemen from Deaf Crocodile are kind of like legends in the industry. They have some wild stories. This video is long. If you haven't watched it yet, it's literally almost an hour and a half. And the crazy thing is, I could have probably talked to them for another 3 hours and still just barely touch the surface, especially from Dennis Bartok from Deaf Crocodile. The stuff that they can talk about, specifically like unused Monty Python animation from the 80s that they touched, the work that they've done on restoring films through multiple companies. I mean, Arbalus and Deaf Crocodile and Cinelicious, they have done so much stuff. Most of you have probably already watched this, so I'm kind of just preaching to the choir. But the Deaf Crocodile guys, like, there is so much coming from these guys that they alluded to, even, that I am so excited for. And I can't stress enough that if you have not donated to the Solomon King Kickstarter, which again most of you probably already have, but if you have not, they are not like swimming in Scrooge McDuck money or anything like that. A lot of these labels, let me minimize this for a second. A lot of these labels are not necessarily like struggling to get by, but the cost associated with these things, they're surviving from like one release to the next, and they are hoping that they can get enough support to continue to do these things. But a release like Solomon King, that they had to go above and beyond to restore everything, to, I mean, the color grading, if you look at the work that they have done, primarily Craig from Deaf Crocodile, he's the one that does most of the restoration work. He is changing a film that was a weird deep yellow color and making it look incredible. And the videos that they have posted online, they are astonishing. I do want to highlight, Brian says, I think they hit their goal fast, which is awesome. They did. Their goal was 15,000 and they hit that literally like in 2 or 3 days. And it was great. And I'm stoked for that. Unfortunately, they highlighted that their goal being 15,000, they were only actually going to get like 6,000 of that, and the restoration cost them more than $50,000. So they have put a stretch goal on there. They have a script that you can, an actual hard paperback version of this script that you can purchase, and they're just killing it with the work that they do. And yeah, I really want to just stress that these companies, they really need you to speak with your wallet when you can. They do so much work, and we're getting more. I mean, they want to do more Patushko films. They want to do there's one of the coolest things that they reveal is we're getting a basically like a sister release to the animated film that they put out, and we're getting another one of those that's also animated coming next year. And they were saying they want or what were they saying? They were saying that the animation in that one might be even better, which is crazy because Delta Space Mission looks incredible for how old it is. That release looks fantastic. So yes, keep Deaf Crocodile in your mind. Donate if you can. That Kickstarter just needs support. Let's look at Visual Vengeance. The little line from Wild Eye, of all places. I didn't think Wild Eye would be making such a big hit in 2022, but they are releasing for this little sister label that they started, Visual Vengeance Films. They've put out 4 so far, and this is their 5th announcement. We are getting a film by Todd Sheets called Moonchild from 1994. I believe Todd Sheets is actually from here in Kansas City, and they're kind of killing it. People are loving these releases. If you have not read about this one, this title says, in a dystopian future, political prisoner Jacob Stryker, what a great name, is transformed into a werewolf super soldier by government scientists. He escapes captivity and searches for his son, who may be the Messiah, and joins an army of karate-kicking rebellion fighters poised to overthrow the United Nations of America. Along the way, Jacob is hunted by a group of cyborg and mutant bounty hunters as he tries to forget the bomb implanted in his stomach that's set to explode in 72 hours. I mean, first of all, that sounds like 7 films in one, which alone, that has to be just absolutely bonkers. But this says, a mind-boggling, sprawling, shot-on-video horror sci-fi action martial arts epic. Again, shot on video horror sci-fi action martial arts epic from shot on video fan favorite Todd Sheets, who also did Zombie Bloodbath and Goblin. That is one of the most ambitious and offbeat low budget movies of the VHS area. So this is going to be on Blu-ray for the first time ever. New director supervised SD master from the original tapes, which means, keep in mind, this will not look like amazingly clear. It was shot on video, so this is still only going to be in standard definition. This is going to have a bonus audio CD of the movie soundtrack, 2 new director commentary tracks, which is very intriguing to me. Includes the original alternate VHS cut of Moonchild, Wolf Moon Rising, a making of documentary, 4-page liner notes, and then a limited edition slipcase by the Dude Designs for the first pressing. But then also, just like they've been doing, we got this little bonus set that they're putting out. We got the VHS stickers, we got the little booklet, we got the slipcase, which looks great. And here is a close-up of the art on that slipcover, and they are doing fairly well. Visual Vengeance is doing just fantastic. Let's see. Video Man says, I don't understand, because they are shot on video. Why do they restore, or why do they, I assume you mean restore it. I love shot on video, but to put in time to fix it is weird. I mean, it could look a lot better. That's the big thing. And then, again, to include these on Blu-ray, if you watched the, let's see, Saturn's Core, that's who it was. If you watch the interview I did with Saturn's Core, Ross went really into detail on why these are being put out on Blu-ray. And one of the main reasons, and a film like this actually shows how they are taking advantage of it as well, is that they are able to put a lot more on the disc. So they are able to put on multiple commentaries on these. Saturn's Core, they put on bonus films. I do understand the frustration with buying an HD disc for a film that is in only standard definition, but at the same time, these movies are great, and they are, some of these are, this is the best they're going to look primarily. So yeah, if you're into it, take a look, because Visual Vengeance is kind of killing it this year. And I also realized while looking at that, I may have been wrong. I thought this was the 5th title announced, but on there, they've got a little spine that says VV07. I know John is super into these. Am I not thinking of a couple of titles? Did they already announce 2 others that I just completely forgot about? Anyways, the next one from Dark Force. So this is that bigger title I alluded to. We are getting Dead Pit on 4K, the film that Dark Force has put out. Oh gosh, I think on 3 different releases. Or God, maybe it's even 4. So this will be release number 4 or 5 that they've done of Dead Pit, and they did say that this is going to have one of their crazy slipcovers on it. But again, it's Dark Force, and I don't know that I trust that. And this film is probably not going to look amazing in 4K. Like, if they're doing great, I'm totally fine with that. If they're somehow able to make these look amazing, I will definitely support them in one way or another eventually. Dead Pit is, I don't love Dead Pit, but I own it still. It's a classic. I just want somebody to release this finally and give me the exact same style of slipcover that the VHS had, where you press a button and the eyes light up green. I need that in my life. Dead Pit is an interesting film. I don't love it. If somebody disagrees, by all means, have your opinion. I just don't love Dead Pit. Let's see. Video Man, and you were totally fine. I mean, the film could be 1 gig without losing any quality at all. I worked with video for 10 years. There's nothing more to gain from it. Sorry, bad English. There's no apologies here. I fully support it. You're doing the best that you can. I'm all about it. If I gave the wrong word, by all means, correct me. I understand it. There's probably no quality to gain from it. However, tape does deteriorate, and what they can do is restore pieces that have deteriorated, and I do hope that they're able to preserve them, because all of these deserve to be archived properly to the best possible quality. And SD, I get it, the tape is not going to be in HD or anything like that, but I mean, they could look better after some restoration. We don't know what that tape actually looks like by now. And yes, it could be on a DVD that is cheaper, but DVD is also a lot more susceptible to damage. So that's also another reason. And they're not so much cheaper that the cost to consumers would be cheaper by $5 or $6 necessarily, especially if they're still putting the amount of love into it that they're doing on Blu-ray. Anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Yesterday, Scorpion releasing, and Kino announced that they are putting out Island of the Blue Dolphins. I have never seen this one. I don't know anything about this. This is getting a brand new 2K master and no bonus features, it looks like. This is coming on October 18th. Based on Scott Odell's beloved children's classic, Island of the Blue Dolphins is the heartwarming adventures of a 19th century Native American girl who becomes stranded on a remote island off the California coast. I mean, it sounds interesting. I mean, 1964, there were quite a few of these, so I could see that being decent, at least. Yeah, I might check this out eventually. We shall see. Scorpion does good work. Speaking of good work, we got Burt Lancaster and Katharine Hepburn, who did all right in their time. We are getting The Rainmaker from Kino on October 25th. This is getting a 6K scan of the 35mm VistaVision original camera negative. This isn't the one we talked about last week, is it? I think this is a brand new announcement. I know we had the talk about a 6K scan last week. Things are scanned higher than they're put out all the time. This is nothing new. This is getting a new audio commentary by Julie Kurgo, and that shouldn't be surprising. 6K scans, even higher than that, have existed, and they're still only put out by, on a 1080p Blu-ray, and that's okay. They look even better because they are done to the best of their abilities, and we're still not going to see a 6K disc or anything like that. Obviously, Burt Lancaster and Katharine Hepburn, they do good work. Strongly suggest it. One that I wanted to highlight, because we don't talk about independent horror enough on here. Don't Fuck in the Woods Part 2 is coming on December 13th, and this is done by a company called Concept Media, and they put out the original Don't Fuck in the Woods, and this movie is coming out through Wild Eye, which they are the ones that do Visual Vengeance, like we just talked about. This is going to have a slipcover, folded poster, and a bunch of bonus features, including, let's see, blooper reel, deleted scenes, behind the scenes image gallery, original producer trailer, and then a bonus feature-length documentary called What Happens in the Woods, the story of Don't Fuck in the Woods, behind the scenes making of featurette. The first one is cheesy, funny, modern horror, and they're decent. I certainly want to check this one out. I've not seen the sequel yet because it hasn't been released yet, but the original was fun. I've got the original here on Blu-ray. The original even got, I think it got a steelbook release, if I'm remembering right, which was really odd for indie horror like this. But yeah, check it out. Wild Eye. Some of their stuff has been decent. Most of their DVD titles that are modern like cheesy horror, they're not great, but they're normally very cheap, thankfully. Dead Sea Life says, I didn't see the first Don't Fuck in the Woods. I won't know what's going on. I will say it is a very difficult scene to follow, and it's fun. If you're into any sort of indie horror, it's worth it. I'm actually going to be talking about indie horror in just a minute, but not right now, because right now, let's talk about November 15th. We are getting a catalog Quentin Tarantino in 4K from Lionsgate by way of Reservoir Dogs. Now, we don't have a lot of information on this one yet. I really hope that they did this right, because the release that they did of Inglourious Bastards, it wasn't the best 4K. It wasn't like an absolute failure of a 4K, like we've seen for like Terminator 2 or Pirates of the Caribbean or anything, but it just wasn't great. It wasn't anything that really stuck out as a fantastic release of a fantastic film that it deserved. Now, Reservoir Dogs, this is an important film, and I really want to see them do this right. So I'm kind of worried about this. This is a great film. And obviously, most people on here probably love Tarantino. I love Tarantino. This one is special because it's one of the first couple Tarantino that I saw. And I love this cast. Like, Tim Roth has always been one of my favorites. I think that he is captivating in every single role that he does. And Reservoir Dogs is just, it's one of those movies that's got it. Obviously, that's a very like film bro way to talk about it, but this film just has something, and it's amazing. I really hope they do this one right. More details to come on that one. We'll talk about that later again, I'm sure. Another sort of indie horror, we are getting Tiny Cinema on October 11th from Epic Pictures, and this will probably come through their Dread line. Don't know for sure that this is coming from Dread, but it'll come either from Epic or Dread. And Tiny Cinema is about a mysterious stranger tells the twisted tale of seemingly unconnected strangers whose lives will change in incredible and bizarre ways forever. As reality unravels, each person must battle incredible challenges from a multiverse seeking answers on the essential questions of life, death, love, and the fate of our future. Now, I don't want to dismiss this because of this, but I also kind of shudder at any indie film right now that is about a multiverse in any sense of the word, because it just feels like the cool thing to talk about right now. Obviously, the MCU has been talking about a multiverse for far too long at this point, and one of the best movies of all time that just came out this year, Everything Everywhere All at Once, was a multiverse film. So I hope this is decent. Epic Pictures is one that I've liked previously, one that I think could do better, and one that I'm hoping soon we actually get some behind the scenes information on Epic and Dread Pictures specifically that we can have a guest on to talk about with us. But yeah, I don't know that this is one I'm super excited about. Quiet Rob says it's Reservoir Dogs 30th anniversary. If they drop the ball on this one, it will ruin the holidays for me. Completely agree. Can I do a show about 4K releases that are so bad they are better off on Blue? Finances are tight for some. Dropping cash on a bad 4K is not a good thing. Yes, that is actually something that I have a running list of that I've been planning for some time. So I'm hoping that I can get that out soon. I've been trying to get like not an exhaustive list, but a decently long list that we can talk about. And completely agree, John. DC TV did the multiverse years before Marvel, starting with The Flash. Yes, Yes, they really did. And it's just too much at this point. I don't want it to saturate. And I don't know. It may just be me being a curmudgeon about it, but it's too much. We don't need more multiverses, which by definition is impossible because there's an infinite number of them. All right. So let's get into what I think is the most exciting thing to talk about this week. And that is Columbia Classics Volume 3. So, this release looks so good that I had to make multiple posts about this just to house all of the details because this looks incredible and loaded, especially when you compare it to the first two releases, which must have done very well for them because this looks insane to say the least. The amount of things that they're adding to these films. I'm not going to go into deep detail on each of the films. We're going to talk about what they are, but a couple of reminders here. Columbia Classics. This is put out by Sony and Columbia because Sony owns Columbia, and Sony does they still do by far the best 4K restorations of catalog titles from any of the studios. The only ones that I would say could compete with Sony are actually the boutiques, which by definition they should be doing at least as good as these studios, if not better on some of these, because they're doing up-to-date restorations on a lot of their 4Ks. Now, the hard part is a lot of these studios, they do their own restorations because they've been housing the elements for so long. So the studios kind of have a step ahead, but other places like Universal, they've tried with a lot of their 4Ks, but they've bungled a couple of them. They don't look amazing. The biggest offender, obviously, Disney. Disney 4Ks are not great. They are notoriously bad on the sound front. It is so bad that people have coined the term Atmos because instead of Dolby Atmos, why did I say Atmos? Instead of Dolby Atmos, the Disney 4K releases are usually just a static sound, and they call it Dolby Atmos, even though it's not moving from channel to channel, which is the whole point of Dolby Atmos. So it's frustrating. Especially because they're the biggest, they're like one of the biggest companies in the world at this point. They have the catalog of some of the most beloved films of all time, and they either don't do anything with it or they screw up the release so bad that they completely ruin it, like the first Pirates of the Caribbean that came out and everybody just said, what is this crap? So all that to say, this is exciting because the first two Columbia Classic sets are filled with 6 films that are gorgeous in 4K. And while this is potentially the least exciting slate of titles from the 3 sets, and I get that, I've heard a lot of people complaining about the list of titles, these are going to look incredible in 4K. We've got 2 or 3 titles in black and white, and one of my favorites from the 90s. I loved As Good as It Gets. But this set is going to look amazing, and it's filled to the brim with extras. So let's get into it. I can stop with my tirade before we go into details here. So the first that we are getting, first an overview of Columbia Classics Volume 3. This must-own set includes films that have resonated and endured with stars and stories that have reverberated through cinema history. The films included in this are It Happened One Night, From Here to Eternity, To Sir with Love, The Last Picture Show, Annie, and As Good as It Gets. Each film presented in 4K resolution with Dolby Vision HDR, and 4 of the films have all new Dolby Atmos mixes. The 6 films in the Columbia Classics Collection of Volume 3 are only available on 4K Blu-ray disc within this limited edition collector set. Now, to break in here, that is likely going to be true, potentially forever. There are still films released from the first 2 sets that have only been released on 4K in those Columbia Classic sets. So it is quite possible that this is the only place you are going to be able to get these titles. So if one of these is one of your all-time favorite films and you really want it on 4K, the best it's ever going to look, this is when to get it, because you're potentially not ever going to be able to get this on 4K outside of it. They have released, I think standalone 4Ks of 2 or 3 of the titles from the first 12 that they put out in these sets. But that's it. And gosh, it might only be 2. Huh. Anyways, this is, again, going through this, included with the collection is a gorgeous hardbound 80-page book featuring in-depth sections about the making of each film. Within the set, via 6 all-new incisive essays from renowned writers, including a special exclusive essay from award-winning writer-director James L. Brooks on his own 1997 classic, As Good as It Gets. The set also includes a variety of rare related features and TV episodes, expanding the worlds of several of the included films, some of which haven't been available in decades. From a 1932 cinematic incarnation of Annie to a nearly 5-hour 1979 TV miniseries adaptation of From Here to Eternity, and more. These supplemental editions round out this must-own gift set, perfect for the holidays. We are going to dive into this now and go through what each bonus is. So for It Happened One Night, obviously this is Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. This is a classic black and white film. We get a 4K Dolby Vision, like they said, and then a new from this, You Can't Run Away From It, a 1956 remake of It Happened One Night starring June Allison and Jack Lemmon, which has also been remastered again in HD, brand new. There's also an audio commentary featuring Frank Capra Jr., and Frank Capra Jr. remembers It Happened One Night in a featurette. They also have a featurette about screwball comedy, and then the original live radio broadcast. Next one is From Here to Eternity. This one is one of the ones with the Dolby Atmos audio. Let me see, was the first one? No, the first one was the original mono. So this one has Strength and Sacrifice, the making of From Here to Eternity. We get a Eternal History Revisited, brand new featurette. And then from 1980, a new From Here to Eternity TV pilot starring William Devane and Barbara Hershey, presented in standard definition, and some other making ofs and other excerpt featurettes that we got on there. The next couple, we got To Sir with Love. This one has the Dolby Vision HDR presentation, the original mono audio, 5.1 audio, and then a new tribute to Sidney Poitier. From 1974, we get a new To Sir with Love pilot with Harry Rhodes starring in this rare TV adaptation of the 1967 classic, presented in high def. We got an audio commentary featuring Judy Geeson and film historians Julie Kurgo and Nick Redman. We got a whole bunch of other stuff, audio commentary featuring the novelist, and then new To Sir with Love 2, the 1992 TV movie sequel to the 1967 classic, starring Sidney Poitier and directed by Peter Bogdanovich himself, presented in HD. I mean, a full-on TV movie sequel is included as a bonus feature. There is so much in here. We got acting featurettes, To Potter with Love featurette, all brand new, and then a whole bunch of archival extras. And that's just the third title. We're only halfway through it. This is such a great, great box set. This next one, we got The Last Picture Show. This has the mono audio commentary featuring Peter Bogdanovich, a tribute to Peter Bogdanovich, and then a look-back documentary and a discussion with Peter Bogdanovich. And then we have Annie with a whole bunch of people. This is the classic Annie that everybody pretty much saw growing up at this point. This gets a Dolby Atmos restoration, brand new Dolby Vision HDR 4K from the OCN and all that. But then these extras, we got a new Little Orphan Annie from 1932 featuring Mitzi Green as Annie, newly restored and presented in HD. Fantastic. We get a cast audio commentary featuring all new reflections from Carol Burnett, Anne Reinking, Tim Curry himself, Tim Curry, and Roseanne Sorrentino. I mean, the fact that we're still getting a new commentary with Carol Burnett and Tim Curry, astonishing that in 2022 we're able to put those voices on this set that we can listen to again. Tim Curry just it has been a very sad last, gosh, I don't remember how long it's been since the stroke, but he is out there working his ass off still. Obviously he's stuck in a wheelchair, but he is doing everything he can to keep his legacy alive and happy. There's a new conversation with Eileen Quinn, behind the music with Charles Strauss, looking back behind the scenes, and then a couple other featurettes and a sing-along with Annie, a whole bunch on there, and then a musical performance by Play, It's a Hard Knock Life. Just so much in here. This is ridiculous. And then finally, for me, this is probably the most exciting of the six, just because this hasn't had a great release yet. In fact, I think Imprint put this out. Maybe. But this 4K is going to blow it away. If they did. I can't even remember. But this cast, this film, it is great. And God, the fact that it's a 25-year anniversary, this is crazy. Helen Hunt, Greg Kinnear, Jack Nicholson, and Cuba Gooding Jr. star in the James L. Brooks hit comedy As Good as It Gets. And this one, we are getting Dolby Atmos audio, which is great. Audio commentary featuring the director, Jack Nicholson, Helen Hunt, Greg Kinnear, the editor, producer, and composer, Hans Zimmer is even included. We got new deleted scenes, some intros, the original ending that was they called Kiss Her Man. There are new behind-the-scenes footage in this, new the making of featurette, some sound bites, and then an exclusive bonus disc called From Here to Eternity, which includes the nearly 5-hour 1979 TV miniseries starring Natalie Wood, William Devane, and Peter Boyle, presented in HD. So much. This release is just crazy. I mean, a full miniseries, TV movie sequels, full other films. This is the way that studios should be releasing their films. And I really wish that Columbia could do this like twice a year. Yes, As Good as It Gets was released on Blue by Twilight Time. I didn't love that release. The Imprint one was decent, but obviously this is going to be the way to watch it. As Good as It Gets is a wonderful comedy. I just love James L. Brooks. The very last one, we got some details on Dressed to Kill. This is coming in 4K from Kino on October 25th, making it a perfect holiday pickup for Halloween. This, of course, stars Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, and Nancy Allen. This is the slipcover, and then the inner art is this classic look. We get brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master from a 16-bit 4K scan of the OCN. New audio commentary by author Maitland McDonough. Don't know why I said it the wrong way first. But then we get a new interview on disc 2 with Nancy Allen, a new interview with the associate producer and production manager, Fred Caruso, a new interview with Keith Gordon, and then a whole bunch of archival interviews, featurettes, documentaries. There's even the 43-minute making of from 2001. If you've never seen Dressed to Kill, this is a very good De Palma movie. One that I don't think gets a lot of love, considering what De Palma has morphed into throughout the years. He's had quite a different types of styles, probably 3 or 4 different eras of De Palma. And Dressed to Kill is a very good one. What's going on, Scolder? This is literally the last announcement. There's my sister. What's going on, Courtney? Yeah, Dressed to Kill. I'm actually curious if Courtney's seen this one. Probably not. This is probably one she would like quite a bit. Michael Caine, amazing in this movie. But yeah, I would consider picking that up if you are into De Palma. Um, that is it for announcements for this week. And that took a lot longer than I expected. That Columbia Classics, that took so much time all by itself. Let's go into the details of what is releasing on Blu-ray next Tuesday. We are getting on August 16th the Scream Factory 4Ks of Child's Play, Child's Play 2, and Child's Play 3, the Shout Select 4K of Red Dawn, the Jurassic World Dominion, I believe, has settled on coming out in 4K next Tuesday. Oh, the release date of that one has been up in the air a few times, which has been odd. What's Eating Gilbert Grape and Coneheads are getting their catalog release on Blu-ray. What Women Want as well. Black Phone, this is finally coming out next Tuesday. For those that didn't know, because we talked about it on the show, but Scream Factory never announced it at all. Child's Play 4K and Red Dawn 4K, those are both coming out on a Best Buy exclusive steelbook, which is really odd. They have not done that as exclusives with Best Buy before. And those are also coming out next Tuesday. Of course, is Black Phone good? Knowing your taste, you would really like it. I think that it gets a little anticlimactic, and I don't want to give away the twist for a fairly new film or anything like. It's not even really a twist. I don't want to spoil it. Like the first almost half of the movie is really good, really great setup, very creepy, great score on that film. Unfortunately, when the bulk of the movie happens, it's in a situation that kind of just takes the rug out of the film. I think the Black Phone ended up being something that it fell flat at the end for me, and it's still good. It's just not the hotness that everybody was describing it as. That's the thing. It seems like nowadays with people talking about films, it's either like the greatest thing to come out this year, or it's a completely dogshit film. And The Black Phone sits squarely in the middle. It's a good, competent movie, but it's probably not one that I'll want to rewatch every year for the next decade or anything like that. We are getting the Criterion. We're getting the Safdie brothers film Daddy Longlegs next Tuesday. I'm guaranteeing a lot of people are going to be picking that one up in the November sale, I'm sure. So many people are clamoring for Johnny Mnemonic in black and white. That's finally coming next Tuesday. Electroglide in blue, that is a Kino title. That'll be here next Tuesday. The other Criterion, Frownland, that is coming out as well. Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. Really great modern comedy. But once again, the studio releasing the 4K like a year after the Blu-ray. Why? Why? I don't get this one. So many people bought the Blu-ray that they were like, yeah, we got Blu-ray sales. Now let's release it on 4K. Anyways, Barb and Star is actually a fun movie for a modern comedy. Let's see. The other ones coming out, we are getting, let's see. They went That Away and That Away. This is the Tim Conway film that's coming out from Kino. Denise Calls Up, that is coming, I believe, from Paramount, and not a whole lot else coming in terms of boutiques. A couple more big ones coming out before the end of the month, I believe. Yeah, we got the Dog Soldiers coming, Paths of Glory, but we'll be talking about those next week, of course, on Reconnected. All right, we have been here for an hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to go through a few things, like I said. Highlight some things, some really cool things. First off, I was talking about indie horror earlier. And actually, let me try to not do this by the microphone because I know it'll sound like crap. Get this open so it doesn't glare too bad for you. If you have never heard of Gator Blade Films, there's a couple indie horror directors that have put out some films, and they're not always great, but they're fun, and they keep things going. But it's always important to support these people. We've talked about indie horror in here before. I just got in one that I backed a while ago. The cheerleader sleepover slaughter, which is promising to be full of nudity and blood and hilarity. and just amazing. I mean, there's also a bonus film on here called the Housewife Slasher, and yeah, let's see. They even included a little poster or picture in here. Don't know why I said poster. Um, yeah, I mean that's interesting at least. I would keep an eye on indie horror if you have not been. And then the other thing, I wanted to talk about the fact that we don't have a lot of people still talking about the fact that we're getting Fangoria still. And we got a really cool cover featuring The Weeknd, which is an incredible musician and has done some really cool stuff in makeup over the last few years and been telling some really interesting stories. I really dig The Weeknd, and Fangoria is always on top of cool stuff like this. There's stuff in here about Nope. You can see in the corner there. They talk about Nope. They talk about Cronenberg. They talk about The Weeknd. Just want to remind everybody they're out there, and it's not like over expensive for an entire year. But the last one, really wanted to highlight. Finally got in the latest wave of Mondo Macabro titles. Love Brides of the Blood Mummy. I got number 45 out of 1200 on that one. And then Jess Franco's The Other Side of the Mirror. And then thank you to Jared for also pairing these up, number 45. And then their final title in this bundle, The Horrible Sexy Vampire. Now, Mondo Macabro was actually the first label that I had like a true interview with on this channel earlier this year. I did speak with Justin DeClue from Gold Ninja Video last year, but that was about a very different thing. He had an Indiegogo at the time. We didn't go into as much detail as I've been doing now. Justin DeClue was great, but I've grown a lot since then as an interviewer. And Mondo Macabro, they get like ample attention, but I think that they still go into the radar for a lot of people, and people just plain forget to support them. And Mondo Macabro has had low-key like one of the better years from a boutique standpoint. They've put out some great titles this year. They've got their first 4K coming with Dr. Caligari in November, and they are releasing just really unique, interesting titles with a lot of bonus features, and their limited edition titles are selling decent, but like their last wave didn't sell that well for them, which is really odd. So Mondo Macabro, if you have never supported them, please go back and watch my interview with Jared. They do incredible work, and they are somebody that I think if you are into horror, if you are into like bonkers cinema, they have something for pretty much everybody out there. And then last thing, I will remind everybody what I said at the beginning, just in case you weren't here then, Air 4444. I have my interview coming with them on Monday, and it is not for me necessarily, but it is a great pile of information. Very young dudes with some inspiring takes on cinema, on starting a label, and I think that most of you will probably really enjoy it. Be on the lookout for that. Other than that, I think I might be done. Is anybody really dying to see the Shout Select sale, or have any questions? Anything I can help with before we call it a night? We've gone a lot longer than I expected already, to be honest. I really didn't think that I was even going to get an hour out of it, but the fact that Columbia Classics just had so much, stoked that we are getting that, and all that work went into it. All right. I am probably going to call it then. Not a lot going on there. I wanted to once again say thank you to the patrons. Most of you are in the chat tonight, and just want to say thank you. You are huge supporters of this channel. The Discord is very active. Everybody on this list is amazing. They have done a lot to help give proper feedback, to share what they like about the channel, and give me some information that will help make everything better for all of you. So thank you to those. If you're interested in the Patreon, check in the description below. We have just a wonderful community behind the scenes, And I appreciate all of you. And as I always say, from one collector to all of you, have a good night. We'll see you next Thursday. And I got some more stuff coming before then. See ya.